a lot's happening. I'm trying to like. Okay, so take a look at City Hall and take a look at the reply I gave to the governor.
Yeah, looking. Yeah.
So, could you read it out loud just so?
Of course, yeah. So we have the penal code powers sent out for reviews, the legislation sent out for review, and are awaiting after the election to push that out. My understanding is that will be on Monday. The penal charges, we're going through the charges at the moment and noting down what we believe is reasonable. We should have our first response concluded by Tuesday evening. As of present, we are coming to the conclusion that the majority of these penal code charges may need to be rolled back. They seem to have no indication of any documented backing as to why they were added or altered to begin with.
Yeah. I think the entire penal code needs to be pulled back, minus a handful of things.
Yeah.
And I have, yeah, okay, so I've been, the thing that's been a roadblock, and I think this is I have been, obviously we had the election, but I couldn't mentally participate in knowing like what, I didn't know what the fuck to do, right? Because like these fucking dumb fucks went and like changed so much shit.
Yeah.
With all due respect, with no proper effort, like it was
with feeling. It was all based on feeling and emotion.
It's all exactly, and so like, what the fuck do you do with that? You know what I mean? Yeah. And the thing that I had trouble, because look, I'm just gonna chop it up. I was thinking about city health, right? Do I go and tell these guys to go and like fucking revert everything, right? Are they gonna start like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you tell them to go like, yo, change it back? But the reality is that they they have a history of doing this shit, and we need a line in the sand. But because of the, let's just say this, like I got reversion sounds extreme, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I was worried about as to whether or not it was too extreme. Because what happened, or do we just say what happened happened? I now feel a strong conviction that that is the approach we take, but we, like, that is an option that we can take, is my feeling on it all. So I think what we do here is that, okay, you know that link you sent me with all the fine and time shit?
Yep.
It doesn't even have a diff on it, does it?
One of them does, I think. The pre and post change.
The one that Dios
I think so.
Put together?
Yeah.
I think we use that. We need to make, number one, if you can take notes on this. So this is going to be the like the sub clauses of like the methodology by which we do the review, so we don't lose line of sight. I think number one is that we need to ensure that that Excel sheet that Dios made is actually accurate when referenced with the DOJ changelog in the shared reports. In other words, is there anything missing from it?
Yeah. That's okay. Yeah.
After that has been done, so now, you know, we say, all right, this is an accurate Excel sheet. We then go through the entire thing. I am willing to accept that $1,000 base minimum for every fine and time makes sense. But there then is a problem. Is that the moment you change $1,000 baseline, it then has a ripple effect on the, bro, this is why I don't know, bro. Okay. You know what? Like, this shit gives me a fucking aneurysm.
Yeah.
When you change it to $1,000, because that's literally all I heard is like, well, we decided $1,000 should be the base minimum. But the problem is, okay, well, now that has a ripple effect on everything.
It does, yeah.
Because now we have to scale everything accordingly. What if that's what they did? I don't know. There's no way to know. I can't believe anything that they say either, because you have a jackass that just lies about everything, right? So,
I don't think that was it, because I've looked at this for 4 or 5 days now, and I don't see any meaningful methodology. It's all very, very haphazard.
This feels like I'm debugging like a fucking C++ template, and I'm looking at someone's code and being like, what the fuck were they doing? And there's like 0 comments in it. So now I have to like derive what was the intention of what they were trying to do, even though they're available but have provided 0 guidance on any of this shit. So you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm kind of just of the mentality that we just say roll it back.
Yeah. I
and just
agree.
say that's it. It's just roll it back.
I think from my assessment, right, from looking at this and how the changes were made, I think it was made from the standpoint of being geared towards the upper echelon of groups in the city. And the problem when you do that, right, you gear it to the Hydras and the besties of the world.
Still, I agree with you, but it's still where, even if we were to say that is maybe what they were planning here.
Yeah.
I think, okay, we want to be professional about this.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to write a request, even though I requested it from Weiss directly. I think we need to give him an official response, because otherwise he's going to pretend it never happened. We need all your documentation on these penal code charges.
Yeah.
And the reason, and I know this sounds shitty, right? But the thing is, their word, what they say, none of it is truthful, and we need to document so we can show that we've done the right thing, is put a formal request. We need all documentation on these penal code charges. And then it is up to them to deliver, because I don't want to get into a situation where you get what I'm saying? Like, we just we otherwise, if we just go based on what was said and whatever, and they're not making an effort to give it to us despite the conversation a week and a half ago, we just need to do it formally, so we've documented that we've done the right thing on our end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they can't go back and be like, they never asked for it, or, oh, magically we found some like document that we pulled out of our ass. You know what I mean? Like, literally, we just,
Yeah, okay. That makes sense, right? We want to show that we at least made the effort to get some historical context and some evidence to back our decisions.
Yeah.
So that
I want
makes total sense.
I want to remind you, the only documentation we got was from the chief,
Burner,
who told us it came from a 30-minute conversation, and most of that is just like random fucking comments.
I guess, how are you just going to post that right up on City Hall? Are you going to request it to a judge?
There's a government email chain.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Easy enough.
So could you formalize something like that? Something very short. It doesn't need to be like, just official header or whatever, and say, hey, we need this in order to properly review these things. And I think we'll note on there, let's just be explicit too, that barring any justification for any addition, removal without legislation, or any sort of formal documentation as to the reasons why the penal code charges were altered, we are going to have no other option other than to remove or revert said changes, so that it's very clear that we need this shit. Otherwise, it's going to have to be reverted. Right? So, we're very crystal clear as to what the consequence here is. Right? Yeah. And I know they don't want to do it. I don't know if it's fucking ass having to put all those things in there, but that's on them, right? At the end of the day.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, for all we know, it's literally one button click. From what I've seen before, because I've seen this shit before, it's like a fucking. Do you know what a JSON file is?
Of course.
I think it's like a JSON file that they have to like manually alter. But even if that is the case, then hopefully they had the forethought of saving.
Yeah, the original. Or
yeah,
I guess
like a
the past
backup
version. Yeah. Yeah, I would hope so.
So it's either going to be like a 5-minute thing, or it could be a multi-hour. I don't fucking know.
Even then, listen, if that's what it is, and it's I don't want to do the work, just send me it. I'll do it. You know what I mean? It's not that big of a deal for me.
Oh yeah, that is true. They could just send you the fucking thing, and we'll say we'll fix it ourselves.
Yeah,
we'll give you a copy.
Yeah.
Okay.
If they want to compare the diff between the spreadsheet of what the original fines and times were against the file, fine, so be it. But I think you know me well enough to know I'm not going to try and sneak something through.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Okay. Okay. Let's.
I know we don't want to get ahead, but I just want to make sure you and I are on the same page on this, right? Like, the work starts with the rollback of the penal code, but there's a lot left to be done, I would say.
Oh, 100%.
In my opinion, yeah.
I think the reasons for some of these things still need to be serviced.
Yep.
For example, the EMP gun, using that as an example. Should an EMP gun be illegal? Sure. Why not? Yeah. But let's do it the right way.
Yeah.
It's not hard. It literally is not hard. It's an hour worth of effort.
Yeah.
So
I think in my mind, you and I both agreed that a criminal code would be a huge win for due process and for legislation.
That's too far ahead, but yes, I do agree with you. But continue.
I was going to say the two, I think, go hand in hand more than anything in legislation, a criminal code and the penal code. They kind of are intertwined. So I think with one comes the other is the point that I was going to make.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I think when it ultimately comes down to giving our response, it should not just be reverted, right? Mm-hmm. That rather we're going to be putting forward a full long-term plan. Yeah. Which might be all these charges get reverted, all the like in a worst case scenario, right? All these charges get reverted, all the new additional penal code charges get suspended / removed. In fact, they should be removed because that's how the PD functions, right? They see the charge, they're going to use the charge, right? I don't want to impose. They should be removed because otherwise it puts an unnecessary burden on the police department to be aware that those charges no longer exist. They didn't create that burden. The DOJ did. So the burden should not fall on the PD.
PD, yeah.
Right? But then as a part of that response, we can then go on to say we are in lieu of all these things being brought to the table, this is what we are going to be doing. We're going to be putting in formal criminal code, thus allowing for easier amendment of We are going to be proposing a new bill system that makes it easier to make smaller adjustments to the penal code and other pieces of legislation with less effort and more documentation. So we're going to lay out effectively our 30-day plan.
Love
right?
It. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's perfect. That's perfect. I wanted to make sure we were on the same page. I think I've made my feelings pretty strong about the penal code, and I think you get it. I think we're on the same page.
Yeah. Yep. 100%.
I just wanted to make sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we're not gonna we're not just flipping the table because they pissed in the fucking, pissed on the ground, right? We're gonna, here's how we fix this properly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So response, which includes guidance. So, hold on, let me make it a little bit easier to talk here. Just for clarity's sake, the reason why I sometimes like stop you a little bit there is we have so much on our table that being careful we don't add too many action items that we can't service at once.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah.
There's a lot of things we want to get done, but then there's like, everything happens so serially, I guess.
Well, I think we've realized over the last 9 months how quickly a term goes by.
Not to our own fault. Honestly, we could go like, I think 5x speed. It's all the fucking red tape.
Yeah.
Like already, I'm going to be real with you, by the way. I saw your bill proposal. I'm actually like high key annoyed with the, you know how we accepted that the contest period expands based on the amount of shit? That needs to be pulled out. Fuck that noise.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, we put that in there to be like courteous, and shit still doesn't go fast. So I think it should just be, fuck you, you're not doing your job. It's going in. There's 5 of you. There is no reason you need 3 days for every bill. Like, there's no reason the city needs to effectively artificially slow down because 1 of 5 individuals cannot read a document and make a constitutional justification, right? And there's no reason to worry about a hypothetical nature of like, because the thing is like, oh no, someone might put too much stuff out, but it's like, and
a part of me wonders now, like with the benefit of hindsight, if they wanted that originally because they were having all the justices review each piece of legislation rather than just one justice doing it. I have no idea.
I don't know what. Okay, you might be right, and it's unnecessary, really.
Yeah,
because it's a constitutional review, not a contest, and they already have a function to stop it. They just need $50,000. That's it. They literally just have to say $50,000 contested.
Well, we've been preaching that since the first term, saying why are you so in a twist over this when you have the tools you need to resolve something, even if it goes through, even after the fact.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, I think that's a good argument right there, to be honest.
Yeah.
If Elon Musk wasn't like connected with Doge, I'd probably be more open to memeing about how we're effectively trying to create the Doge, except it's spelled DOJE. But seriously, like we're talking about making sure that the system remains efficient, right?
Yeah.
Because history has shown that we can be diligent, but the system comes to a slowdown the moment there's that check on the other end. All right. So taking a look at the repaired penal code, right? You see how look at this, 9,900% increase.
Yeah.
So escaping custody was $1,250 and is now $150,000. What is this comment of proposed umbrella charge? Did you put these in?
No.
Okay. I don't know what that is.
I think a lot of people had access to this.
Oh.
Like it might have been like Manx going through it.
Okay. It's fine. So what is DOJ? So okay, what I want to do here is it's kind of sorted right now. But what I want to like extrapolate out of this is what effectively happened here, right?
What I can tell you, right? Because my understanding is C and D are the times before Feb 20, whatever.
Yeah.
E and F are the times now. I don't know what I through N are.
Yeah. What is corrected fine?
That I don't know. Because
Wait,
that doesn't
this
line up with what's
changed.
in the MDT.
I think Dios may have updated this since I last saw it because it used to be old and DOJ time fine.
But even then, like the corrected time is even more than the time and fine that there is right now. Like act of torture, for instance, it's 50,000 in the MDT, but this corrected one has it at 150.
Right. Okay, it is. Cost change, corrected time. Wait, corrected is in. Oh, interesting. Okay, that's good. So let's take a look at. Let me see if Dios is around.
Yeah.
And maybe you can give us like a different. I may be looking because he gave me a couple of them. Let me. This is the repaired one. Let me see. I think he gave me another copy as well. Penal code raw data. Aha! There we go.
That one I don't have. You'll have to send that to me.
Okay. There you go.
The one that Turner provided too. That one also has the original and the after change amounts. So.
Take a look at raw data.
I need access to it.
Oh fuck. Let me make you a copy then.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we need to format one of these documents for our needs.
Mm-hmm.
But for now, our exercise right now should be to have a sense of what happened at a high level. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Okay.
Insert. So if you go to raw data, right, this gives us a lot of good information right off the bat.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can like format this. Convert to table. Yikes. Alternating colors. Give me that. Okay. And you see these updates coming through?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what I want to do is, can I do this? Alternating colors and go like that. No, fuck. Wait, hold on. Oh. Okay, apparently I can't. Okay, it's fine. I wanted to do something like this where needs to be an easier way to visually look at this shit. But it's fine. Okay. So when I take a look at this, and this is so hard to analyze.
I mean, we could go through it category by category. if you want, because it looks like persons, theft, fraud all have it broken out into more manageable units, but it's still the raw data.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Might be a little bit less overwhelming.
So new charges, persons. Let's start with persons.
Yep.
And let me take a look at format. None of these things are very, like, pleasing to the eyes. Okay. So assault and battery went up. Okay, so I'm looking at this and I'm saying to myself, holy shit. Jesus fucking Christ. This just makes me want to bomb the courthouse right now. I'm going to be honest. Just looking at this makes me want to bomb it. I just want to go and bomb it.
I think if there was some meaningful methodology you could see in the data, I wouldn't be so frustrated. But there's not. You know what I mean?
That's exactly. We're debugging the fucking penal code right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay. If we take a look at this, because I'm already looking at assault and battery, and I'm like, okay, why did it go from $420 to $1,500? And I'm just like, there's no reason.
So
there is no methodology.
There isn't. And you're going to feel that because I've done this already. I've gone through the whole thing. And I told you, I can't come up with any evidence to back up whether or not I think this is okay.
Okay, let's try this. Let's bring up the document where they allegedly consulted the PD.
Yeah.
And I say allegedly consulted because I know they were given a document, but if this is the extent of the consultation, it doesn't exactly, bode well. Okay.
I made a copy of it. It looks like there's like 3 people looking at it right now.
That's fine. We're not going to edit this document.
No, we can't anyways.
So the first is there a way to look at okay, so this is their like master doc or whatever the fuck, right?
Yeah.
So
with the comments.
If I look at it, it says this should say the same. What even is that? Is there a way that I can, there's a way to oh, I remember. Make copy comments. I think there's a way that I can move. Aha! Here we go. Let me share this with you.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is because the table is very difficult to read. It's moments like this, I wish I had a 4K cell phone.
Mm.
All right. You see that?
Yeah.
So what I want to do is... Oh my... I might have an aneurysm. Okay. I want to isn't there a way I can have 2 scroll bars? Yes.
Oh,
okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it working. And then I go view, fucking show comments. All right. So possession of a firearm, the time stayed the same. Okay. Wait, wait, it didn't copy all the comments. Oh my god. Wait, why did it not copy all the comments?
I think you had to include resolved comments because I think they've gone through and resolved all of them.
Okay. Ah, I see.
Yeah.
I hope Party wins. And then I'm gonna go do coke and like just get my dick sucked on a yacht somewhere. I'll just fucking delete all these Excel sheets, like, you know, all my copies. Like, just fuck this.
Pretend it never happened. Yeah. It's a bad dream.
Just try, you know, enjoy this, motherfucker. Oh fuck. Let me see. All right, view comments. Okay, that worked. Is it working for you?
I've got view only. I can't see the resolved comments, but I can see them on the original, so it's fine.
Okay. Why can you not? Wait, what?
I've got view only.
I'll give you
I need
editor. I got you. One sec. Don't consider this like our. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, good. I can see.
Okay. One thing, have in the back of your mind that there may be alterations in this document, right, that we don't see.
Yeah.
So obviously, right, because because it says, like, for example, this first comment says these should stay the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's probably something in here that says add this or change that, right?
Yeah.
But we don't see that diff, right? That's something we're going to want to remember to look at when we can. So this should say the same, whatever. Let's go to the next one. It says thermal charges are not fuses, nor thermite. Please add thermal charges. So there's immediately an issue with this. And you know what it is? You ready? You ready for this?
I'm ready.
You ready?
God, I'm ready. Yeah.
This was my court case.
In
which,
like from way back.
You ready?
Yeah.
There is a individual that makes moonshine for the besties. I know this separately. He was called by the besties to help pick them up after a failed bank robbery. This is my memory, so scary. I love it. In this, the guy, I forgot what the fuck his name was. His name was like Bill or I don't know. He went to go pick the besties up, but you know, he ended up pulling his vehicle up to the top of Olympic Freeway where the escalator is, and he was told to leave, or he was in the wrong direction of the road. He was then arrested. I then went to defend him. So this is before I was even the mayor. This is 10 months ago. And I was able to reduce his charges, but I got him off on this exact charge because it was illegal to have thermal charges, not fuses. And at the end of the court case, they were supposed to write case law. So this was updated? Hold on.
Yeah, I'm checking.
My point there is that they have something to work off of, but they didn't work off of it. Hold on. Fuck. Is there anyone like who robs banks? Seb. Fucking Alfonso.
The description is currently possess 5 or more thermal fuses and or.
But look at the left. Look at the left and then look at the right.
Yeah, it's been
calling me?
updated.
Hey, Seb, how you doing?
Fantastic. How are you?
So I have a question for you. Do you know anyone that has fuses right now or thermal charges or whatever?
That has one more time. Sorry.
Like thermal fuses or charges?
Yeah. I got some.
Can you take a look at it and tell me exactly what that label says?
Sure. I gotta go back to my place real quick. Hold on.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right.
I'm gonna call you back when I get there or what?
Yep. Perfect.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Talk to you soon. So I'm gonna have Sab like double check what it's called. So hold on. I kind of made a new time. Where's the old time? Let me see. Was it altered? It did. Existing. Wait. So this was. So where are these numbers? Wait. Yeah. It's 10 grand.
10-fold.
Bro. This is where they come in. Fucking $10,000 for just having it?
Yeah.
So if you get arrested and you didn't even break into the bank, you're already cooked.
Well, it's 5 or more, right? So I guess my question is, well, yeah, you're cooked.
Brother, you're already cooked. You're already losing the shit.
Yeah.
The little bit I know is that the shit is used for like, what is it used for? It's used for some like low level shit.
I have no idea.
Okay. Oh my god. Let me just stretch a little bit. Ah, fuck. Okay. So this right here is evidence of why this shit is cooked, right? Is that they've effectively illegalized something, and oh my god, wait a minute. You ready for it? I'm going to walk you through my thought process. Look at shared reports. Look at public penal code.
Yep.
Okay. So now look at new charges.
Yep.
Thermal isn't listed in here.
Let me see something.
And the reason I say that, brother, oh my god. So everything oh my god, bro. This entire shit was changed.
It's listed under offenses against public safety.
I know, but what I'm saying is this isn't under the new charges section. Hold on, I'll tell you my thought in a sec. Hey,
I get it.
Okay, so the thermite charge, there's not much, there's no labels on it. These fuckers just make it and they just don't put any labels on it. Now, as far as the thermofuse, there is a label, there's a caution label on it. It says use heat to break a circuit.
Do you know how to make documents and share them?
Yeah. Like through the phone?
Yeah. Can you take a photo of both things, put it into a document,
and share it with you?
And share it with me. Yeah.
Do you want the advanced fingerprint device or what else?
Yeah. Give me. Yeah. Sure. Take a photo of each thing. What about the label, how it looks like.
Do you care about the PM1I cards too as well? Do you want to see those or just?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I'm we're reviewing the penal code shit and we're just looking for.
I figured when you started asking questions, I was like, I figured I put two and two together. Okay, all right, sounds good.
Awesome.
I'll work on that for you.
All right.
What's your state ID?
1166.
Oh, okay. Oh, easy. All right. I'll
Easy.
share with you in 5.
All right. Take care. Right. Where I'm going with this is it's not 5 new charges. There's more than that, because by altering the nomenclature or the definition, this is effectively a new charge.
It is, yeah. By broadening the scope to include something that wasn't previously included,
Correct.
Right? Making something new illegal, it is a new
The
charge.
thermite, and I just got clarity, is Sab told me that there's thermal fuses and there is thermite. So thermite became illegal at a whim.
Yeah.
But it's not categorized under the 5 or 6. So we were under the impression that there's X amount of new charges. Technically, there's more than that.
Yeah.
Because it's baked into an existing charge now.
Yeah. It has to be rolled back.
Can you enumerate on each one of these things? And these are all going to be like part of our justifications. Here's some examples of why it's fucked. And so, the first one was, so this is going to be one of the first ones, is note thermal charge altered to illegalize thermite indirectly by simply by creating by altering the definition. I think this is good that we're taking notes on this, because so when we send this, it's not like we're showing why we're coming to this conclusion rather than,
Yeah.
And who knows? At the end of this exercise, maybe we end up finding ourselves being wrong, which I kind of doubt. But oh Lord. Wait a minute. I just realized something. New name. Oh my God. Wait, they changed the name of the charge too.
Yeah.
It used to be called felony possession of thermal fuse, and now it's thermal devices. You know what's funny? Did you know thermite is used to lay railroad tracks and repair them?
I did, yeah. It's used in welding.
Yeah.
I mean, its incendiary use is.
It should be criminal.
Remember,
I feel like this should actually be criminal use of thermite.
it should be.
If you are found, it shouldn't. Having possession of this shit is actually dumb as fuck. Being illegal.
Yeah.
Like why should it be illegal to have this? The illegality comes with when you're using it to break into government facilities, or or anything really, like into somebody's house, and then at that stage it becomes contraband as a consequence of using it. So like, let's say someone broke into the Maze Bank, right? And or there was suspicion, right? They're like in an unauthorized area. You arrest them, and yo.
Yeah, did you see document I sent you?
Sorry, I'm multitasking. Could you
No, you're
send
good.
it? Oh, I see it for Nino, right?
Okay. Yeah. Let me
Legend.
know if that's good.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Of course. Happy to help. Happy to help. All right. Good luck.
You take care. Bye. I'm gonna share a document. I just wish I could have one term where I could be evil. You know what I mean?
You should be so lucky.
Do you think there was like a thing where they're like, listen, Nino Chavez is going to completely make everyone criminal? What we need to do is we need to out-criminal him. Because unintentionally, that just worked. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So, PNY card. Oh. Okay. Uses heat to break a circuit. Wait a minute. So I watched this like one guy on YouTube. And he had an episode about railroad shit. And it actually did look like this. So this thermite fuse is used to break circuits. So one could argue that this has more of a specific usage of the fuse. Let me go back to what we were talking about, right? There's two ways to look at this. One way to look at this is to say that thermite fuses in general should be legal. However, the particular one that people tend to come across when you visually look at it, it's designed to actually do something unrestricted. Am I kind of making sense? So path one is saying thermite fuses, by definition, should not be illegal, right? I imagine these laws don't exist for a second. The second is when you look at the, are you looking at the photos?
I am, yeah.
If you look at the type of thermal fuse this is, one might be able to say that this would only be used to break into secure areas. But, and this is a broader conversation. I'm just kind of opening it up so that it can, you know, we can filter our thought process through it. Is number one, who cares unless you did something illegal with it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So how do I explain this? I happen to know a thing or two about electrical engineering for reasons, right?
Yeah, go ahead. Tell me about it.
Fuses like this are often used as safeguards where they can detect overheating of a component, and the thermal fuse will engage to break the flow of electricity to prevent overheating damage. So while I understand the standpoint, this type of fuse is used for something malicious. At the same time, it can also be used for something practical.
Can you give me an example?
I mean, I feel like I just gave you one. There's an electrical component that is susceptible to overheating. If it overheats, it becomes damaged. The thermal fuse is inserted into the circuit in such a way that it will detect overheating, and when the device reaches a certain heat, it will automatically engage to sever the circuit, stopping the flow of electricity and then preventing overheating, right?
Okay.
So it's kind of akin to what the governor alluded to, that is it not reasonable that these deliveries are being made by the cargo ship to things like an outdoor supplies store where someone may need jumping boots, right? I am much more akin to that definition. Is it not reasonable to think that, you know, maybe at click lovers that are doing device repair and they need these, right? They're installing it at facilities to prevent components at buildings, for instance, security systems from overheating and becoming damaged.
To go down that line of thinking, is this something that might possibly be used? Just to be clear here, right? We're not necessarily saying let's remove this, but if we're going to be charging someone $10,000 as opposed to the original $1,000, the $10,000 is sort of by nature of how much it is sort of implying with higher certainty that it is being used strictly for like you get what I'm saying? Like where I'm trying to go with this is to dial it back, why rip somebody over this to begin with?
Agreed.
For simply having it. if you didn't do anything, this could be contraband. This could be evidence that a crime was committed, which is the robbery of a bank. Wait a minute. Let me even go further. The charge for robbing a bank, the thermal fuse would already be a part of the charge. So why are we charging someone? The only time this becomes relevant is if you search somebody due to a crime having been committed, and why does this exist to begin with?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Oh my God. You know, I think we just need to become justices after this. The only problem is oh my God. Because our penal code should be very coherent, right? Yep. And like, okay. I'm thinking out loud here, right? So I might reject my own comments a little bit later. I feel like a lot of this stuff has been added as a consequence of knee-jerk, oh my God, this bad, therefore illegal. You know? It doesn't seem to follow any sort of like legal philosophy. I'm not saying like taking a legal philosophy from anywhere, but like there's not really like a methodology, going back to the word coherent. It's not coherent. What are we trying to stop? We also do live in a city where people, law enforcement, lawyers, etc., are following a decision tree, right?
Yeah.
These pieces of evidence, where does it land? And that's okay, right? But as a consequence of decision trees kind of being the basis by which 90% of charges are applied, it's reasonable our penal code makes that process easier, right? Which means there should just by nature be less charges.
There should be. Yeah, I agree.
Like there should be contraband. Like I think it's reasonable for there to be a charge called like contraband of, and I'm just, is it called blue skying? I keep using the word.
Yeah.
It is. Okay. I was told that shit doesn't exist. I could have sworn. Okay. I'm just blue skying here. But instead of having like 10 charges for, you know, possession of thermite, possession of like fucking, like, what is it called? Like bolt cutters, possession of like all this. It should just be like contraband in the first degree.
Yep.
Contraband in the second degree. And the degrees are a consequence of the crime. It still needs the RS and the PC, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, and it's the difference between, were you planning to go in? Were you stopped prior to a robbery or after a robbery?
Yep. That's one way. The other way is actually creating a schedule list where there
exactly
are,
that,
right? Exactly. Yeah.
And so the schedule defines what's illegal and not like it all getting dumped into like 20 different charges. So now all of a sudden that you're caught, you still needed to commit a crime, but there needs to be, because at the end of the day, you still need evidence that the crime was being committed. What the fuck?
Yep, that's right.
Now, if you were like, yo, okay.
I'm glad we got here. I hate to say it, but I brought it up like 3 months ago.
Listen, there's a lot of things many people have brought up, including yourself, but you know, the avenue needs to exist before it can be done.
Oh, fuck, not wrong. But that's it exactly. Possession of thermite, like a thermal charge, in and of itself is not proof that a bank was robbed. It needs to be used, it could be used in conjunction with something, but it's not proof in and of itself. And again, because there are practical uses for it, that's where I have an issue with a lot of this. I mean, you know you have a thermal fuse in your fucking refrigerator at home, right?
And I get that. Now, I'm being careful of this conversation because we do live in San Andreas, right?
Yeah.
And so, let's be honest, 99.9%. Well, actually, why can't someone sell thermite?
It's a good question.
Wait a minute. Back in the day, you actually used to be able to wait, why not? Why should a civilian not be selling thermite? That would be creating business opportunity.
I think it's the argument of what it could be used for.
But what's the worst that happens? What's the massive negative? What? You're creating business, right? And if someone chooses to use it in an illegal fashion, that's on them.
The crime itself, yeah.
Because at the end of the day, right, our culture, legally speaking, should not be so hyper restrictive to the extent that you're just saying no robberies.
Yeah.
Everyone should be locked in their house. The decision to commit a crime should be at the point the crime is being committed. Now, don't get me, and it opens this door where, let's say there was like Michael Bazin, right? He opens a thermite shop. And he sells 99% of the thermite to the besties, who then subsequently is used to rob banks. You now have a case against Michael Bazin as you now have a case where his business should be targeted, right? Arguably could be targeted.
Yep.
Because he at that stage is complicit in the action of selling thermite near exclusively to bank robbers.
I mean, that's aiding and abetting.
Yeah.
I mean, last I checked, we have that charge.
Let's not go too deep into it, because let's just assume our penal code is completely cooked, right? But that makes so significantly, because in what circumstance is someone getting hit by this? In what circumstance is someone getting this charge?
The thermite?
Yeah.
Oh,
you needed to be put into cuffs.
Yeah.
Okay, but what did they do? Like, what's a working example of why is someone detained and arrested?
Well, I mean, that's a massive can of worms. It could be anything. For all you know, they could have fled from a traffic stop because they were, 1 point away from losing their license, and it turns out they have some in their trunk, right?
So, and then it's like, so what?
Yeah.
What, you're charging him for what? They had this shit? Why? Oh my fucking God. This entire system is creating crime.
Uh-huh. If not creating, it's escalating. I think it's a bit of both, to be honest.
I think it's a lot more interesting that someone come across that. If I was a cop and I saw someone with a bunch of shit, I would still make a report. And now that report could lead to a number of things. Number one, there may be an imminent arrest or imminent robbery in which this individual that I have identified may be robbing the bank today. Having created that report, someone that may subsequently go to a robbery and note related details. Let's use the example of Future Hendrix pulled over, smell of weed, whatever it is. You now know that he's got thermite on him, right? Or you arrest him because he fled.
Yeah.
You let him keep the fucking thermite, but now you ask, why the fuck did he have 20 things of thermite in his bag?
Mm-hmm.
And now that same Mr. Hendrix, having been ID'd, having been seen in some set of clothes, forehead is arrested 4 hours later, but he happens to be with someone that got away. You now have evidence from that previous situation 4 hours prior to bring Future in and potentially have enough to charge him with it, right? That's where Investigative comes into play, right?
Uh-huh.
Running it all the way back, putting this guy in for... Wait, how much is the time on this? I'm glad we're going through this right now. This is shit's cooked. Why does this exist to begin with? You know, 7 years ago, thermite wasn't illegal. It got decriminalized.
Mm.
And it was for the reason that people should be able to actively run businesses and provide these things. We shouldn't just assume that it's going to be used for something illegal. It just doesn't make any sense. You're just creating a situation where more people are likely to flee.
Well, and I think it's also disconnected too, right? If this exists, I could legally sell someone 100 bags of fertilizer. You know what I mean?
Right. It doesn't mean you're going to make a bomb.
No, it doesn't.
If tomorrow, right, you're able to go to your crafting bench with 100 things of fertilizer and make a bomb out of it, do we ban fertilizer?
That's the question, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
And the only reason it wouldn't is because you can make food in the city, because mechanically you can make food.
Right. Yeah.
And that's not good. I think once we start falling into those things, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And using percentages isn't reasonable either. I don't want to go too deep down this rabbit hole because we're actually going down a whole new avenue, which obviously I'm not saying we strip this, but it's coming back to why the fuck was thermite made illegal? Because once you start having a real conversation on this charge, it's worse than we thought.
Yes. And now it's a matter of philosophy, right?
Yeah.
What was the philosophy that went into even the original, unchanged version of the penal code? Because these issues exist in that version as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But it could give us, what it does give us is, the mindset of how these decisions are being made. And it seems to be one that, once again, I'm going to use the word, is very authoritarian.
Yeah.
Very Minority Report. You know, the movie where they detect your brain and what you're planning to do, so you got arrested for thinking about doing a crime? Or how did they do it? They had a machine that could tell the future. So because they knew you were going to do something illegal, you got arrested in the present before you had the opportunity to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a good fucking movie.
It was, yeah. Yeah, that's a big philosophical question. And I think it's one that when we do get to the point that we want to go through, take that next step with the penal code.
Okay. Yeah.
We very much need to decide what the mindset is that we're going to apply to the whole thing. Because I think, as you said, I think the philosophy was very preventative in the penal code. I would like to envision a future where the penal code enables the PD to partake in investigations.
Oh my God, you hit it on the head. This kills investigations.
It does.
Because the DOJ is the investigator.
Right.
Because someone says, look at what I found. Oh my.
There's this pattern of the DOJ trying to nip things in the bud, right?
They're trying to literally stop crime.
Right. but the cascading, the snowball effect of that is, I don't know. Listen, I've never operated as a police officer, but to me, this would make things really surface level.
Yeah.
It would kill investigations entirely.
Where everyone just knows what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
As opposed, instead of it being suspect, you know.
Right.
And there's a difference between an investigator that's, let's say, deeply, intimately involved versus someone that just got hired the day before and they know what happened because the penal code's telling you what to do.
Right. Exactly.
You don't even need to know. You just do it.
That's it. I mean, we heard that. We know that to be true because of what Weiss said about the moon boots, right? We know they come from the cargo ship. That is very much the philosophy that is taken here, right?
Yeah.
But that's it. It's bad for everyone. It's bad for the PD. It's bad for the citizenry.
So, Junior. Hey, Junior.
Mm-hmm.
And I spoke to Bruce, and I don't know. I asked about his business, and all his answers are like very vague.
All right. So let him. So if he approaches me again, I'll just say, have Junior review your business app and all that, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I told him to submit it to the website.
Everybody, it doesn't matter if you work for me. It doesn't matter if I don't know you. Everyone follows the same standard.
Yeah, I said submit it to the website, and he was like, yeah, but last time, and I was like, to be quite frank, I don't give a fuck about last time. Submit it through the website.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just thought to let you know that he said he's going to submit it, and then I'll link up with Michael, and then
did
we
he
can give
pick
it a
one?
read through.
Did he pick one? What did he explain? Why he's got like he just slapped 3 businesses up?
I said, look, we're trying to just push through one. And he kind of just, I'll be honest, dodged the question a bit.
Okay.
Well,
he's gonna end up learning.
So we could just.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like there at some level this feels like he's abusing the relationship and the privilege we gave him to help enhance his, that's what it's starting to feel like a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It just kind of felt like very not forced what he was doing. He was trying to force my hand and just make sure he gets shit approved. Like he was saying, it's been a week. I ain't got my shit approved. I was like, bro, one, we're busy, and 2, you got to go through like you said, you got to go through the same shit everyone else does. Like you're waiting. Yeah,
we're not gonna do any corrupt bullshit.
Yeah,
that's on him. If he wants to do it, that's on him. That's his thing. But
I'll get Michael to let me know when that shit's approved. But
easy. It's not gonna get improved until he shows that he has a functioning business to Mr. Junior. So once you're satisfied, then press him as much as you need to. We need to maintain a standard. Otherwise, this business app just becomes give me bank accounts, and that's not good for anybody.
Yeah. And then look, the first thing I told him to do was to submit it through the website, and then I'm gonna go through each business and say, like, show me this is a running business.
And you can let him know we only service one business at a time.
Okay. Easy.
Or one business app at a time.
All right. I'll let him know that. Right. Last thing, Revival are looking to host a event at Courts on Thursday. Are we cool to do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
at
sweet.
Courts, right?
Yeah, at Courts, yeah.
Okay, just make sure you work with Jason on that.
Yeah, I will do.
Easy.
All right, sweet. I'll leave you go. Appreciate it, Nino. Later.
Bye. Oh my God. Okay. I'm glad we're working through this. Could you take just a second to just write whatever notes you need to in regards to what we just discussed at a high level, just so we don't... You do?
Yeah.
Legend. Okay. Let's go to the next comment. Need to add hag list. Need to add to hag list. What does that mean? Human trafficking. Honestly, I agree with this. I don't agree how it was done, though.
Yeah.
I agree that if someone is indeed human trafficking, the problem is, wait. Okay, the definition didn't change. The unlawful act of transporting individuals under the threat of deadly force with the intent to compel them to perform an act of manual labor or a service for an extended period of time under duress. So, hostage. Fact, no, I'm just kidding. This is really shitty definition. Factors of this crime include actual... I hate this writing. Factors of this crime include actual violence exercised against the person to maintain this. I am so glad we have legislation now. Like, this is such a good system. It's just we need to fucking drill it into people's heads as to why it exists. It's so that you don't have to deal with dog shit fucking definitions like this, right? You can actually go into detail and enumerate. Because the problem with the and I know this is an older charge, right? But I'm reviewing this in light of how the system works today, which is that you could read this, but when you use language like it includes, saying it includes is not, it's not an inclusive, it's not an exclusive definition. It's an inclusive definition, meaning that these examples are just like guidance, but is not the end all be all, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you end up with these, like, you know, what should happen here is this right here is that human trafficking is actually whatever the umbrella legislation is, and perhaps it's crimes against people, crimes against persons, is that this in there should be a or if there's like a legislation for capital level crimes, let's call it even, is that this should have been added to that document, right?
Yeah.
And that's the right way to do it. And then this is updated. And as a part of that exercise of doing it the right way is that human trafficking the baseline of it should be expanded upon.
Yeah.
Because effectively what we've done is we've turned it to a felony into now you're going to jail forever, right? Even though the crime didn't change, the offense is now, this is a hold. But this is the least problematic of everything. Let's go to the next thing. Thermal...
It's still problematic in that procedurally changing something from a felony to a capital offense needs to be done legislatively. You and I both agree on.
Yeah, I agree. Needed to add to HAG list. Okay, and then we got this one. I want a charge for criminal use of an EMP gun, please. 3 hours later, marked as resolved. Like, fuck out of here, bro. Hey, nothing against Trig. He did exactly what a cop should do.
Yeah.
It's the fact that they literally just accepted it.
Yeah.
It's like, good discussion. $40,000?
Yeah.
What? Wait, this is $40,000? You know how this... Oh, my God. I mean, I don't know what an EMP launcher is. I just know that because Sab called me about it, is he, like, misfired one? Or zapped someone with it? It didn't even kill them. Wait, why is an EMP launcher that big of a deal?
I mean, it could have major impacts on infrastructure. Right?
Well, how much is a class 2? It's 50K.
50, yeah.
No, that's transaction.
Yeah, that's transaction. Go look for possession.
It's more than a class 2, brother. Class 2 is 50 months, 30,000. This is 40 months, $40,000. Does an EMP launcher even like do more than like cause bruising? Wait, let's call our resident expert in crime, Mr. Alfonso Sebastian.
Yo, what's up, Nino?
Hey, I got another question for you.
Yeah.
EMP launchers, have you shot a person with it ever?
I shot a person next to it.
And
what,
what happened to him?
Nothing. I mean, I could try on a person if you like.
Yeah, can you do a live demonstration somewhere? We'll come masked. Just let me know when and where.
Okay, yeah. Let me go work on getting one real quick. I think I'm one short, so.
Really? Okay. All right, beautiful.
No worries, yeah.
I want you, when you do it, like okay, beautiful. All right, I love this.
Yeah, I'll record it for you too as well. Don't worry if I do something like that.
Oh, yes. Can you, record it. That's probably the best way.
Okay, sounds good. You got it, okay.
Appreciate it. And don't text, send me a document.
Yeah, I'm going to share it again with you. It'll be a document share for you.
Love
all right.
Thank you so much, Sam.
Bye.
Take care. Bye. I don't know what he meant by it, but he said he was one short, so I'm assuming it's like crypto or something. But he's going to buy it, and he's going to use it on someone and record it. But he said he shot nearby someone, and it didn't really do anything.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
But this, once again, is underlining... I believe it can be used for something illegal. I actually have not... I don't even have a problem with EMP launchers being illegal, right? Because it's a launcher, right? It's shooting a projectile. Fine. But we need to be... Anybody should be able to look at it and understand why it's illegal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the legislation comes in, right? In the notes, reference this EMP launcher, reference a officer asked for it, reference that 3 hours later they just added the charge, reference that the fine is higher than that of a class 2 despite it not actually having the same risk to an individual's health, right? We can expand on that when we get the video. And note that this is something that should be detailed in legislation as to why it's illegal. We believe it should be illegal, but we need to understand the impact to public safety. And then apply a fine and time appropriately.
Okay. I think when I got to the weapons section of the penal code in my first review, right, my immediate thought was, why can we not just classify things like an EMP launcher as a class 1, 2, 3, or what have you? We could call it class X if we really wanted to. It doesn't really matter.
Sure.
But are we going to keep adding new charges every time some new weapon is found in San Andreas? Or could we...
No.
Should just schedule them, right? Classify them as a class, and they all fall under that umbrella.
Yeah,
right.
The penal code should not. Legislation should be lengthy, not the penal code. A lengthy penal code makes it ass for everybody. We should not be encouraging people to use the penal code as like the. Yeah, we're on the same page. Less charges, more scheduling, more defined in legislation, because it encourages this new system rather than diverts people away.
Yeah.
And if anyone has a problem with that, they're in the wrong field, whether that's law enforcement, whether it be law, whatever. Especially as we're driving towards less documents, right? Especially with this bill system.
That's immediately where my mind went. This could have been a bill outlining all the reasons why an EMP launcher needs to be classified as a class X weapon, and the harm it poses to the public, and then it's just a simple clause added to, let's say, the criminal code on weapons.
Well, here's I'm with you, and there's a problem here. Is why would you even think that a EMP launcher is aimed for people? Why would that make any sense?
Yeah.
An EMP launcher is for disabling a vehicle.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that as an expert on EMP launchers. I'm just saying, look at it at face value. It's an EMP launcher. You're not... EMPs are for disabling electronics.
Right.
You're launching something, which means it's probably something that it would be, you know what I'm saying? Like a boat, a fucking helicopter, a vehicle. It's you know, obviously it's more likely to be used for something illicit, right? There's no practical like civil use for it. But my underlining point here is that you're probably not hurting somebody.
Right.
It's more reasonable that you're stopping them.
Yeah.
It's like a taser for vehicles.
Effectively. Yeah.
And honestly, the thing too is like, you're gonna be like, oh, but it's some like incredibly cool thing that nobody has. That's not where finding time should come from. If it's incredibly, you know, whatever, right? Give me a sec. Hey, Murphy.
Hey, where do you want to have this meeting?
I need to unfortunately postpone. I had a update from the governor on some requests that he had of us. And so I need to prioritize that. So this might push us out a bit.
All right, what's a bit? It's a playoff game happening. Kind of want to watch that. So
Let's for another day. Send me an email.
Day. Right.
Yeah. Send me an email.
All right,
and
let's just table it till after the they call the election. Sound good?
Elections.
At this point, we might as well.
Agreed. All right.
I mean, I'm sure you'll probably be busy, assuming you win the election. But you know, at this point, might as well just wait on it.
I think that sounds good. All right.
All right, then we'll do this another time.
All right. I appreciate it, Murphy.
Good luck with all that.
Appreciate it. All right. You take care.
All right,
and enjoy the game. Who's playing?
The Celtics and the Magic.
Oh, shit. All right. So
second and seventh seed.
See, the thing is, Celtics have won so much alongside every other Boston team that it's hard for me to keep interested. You know, when you got so many fucking rings and trophies, it's like, what's another one? So
that's not the way I see it at all. We've been freed since LeBron went to the West.
Are you a Boston guy?
You know, now it's just, yeah.
Like even now?
You know this.
I know. We keep saying we're going to drink and then it never happens.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. I mean, we have drank before though. It was fun. But
hell yeah.
But yeah, no, yeah, I'm totally local, you know.
Oh shit. All
Roots
right.
run deep.
Hell
13th
yeah.
generation, baby.
Oh my God. All right, Murphy.
Yeah.
We'll talk soon. If
All
not
right.
in San Andreas, maybe in Boston.
Yeah, absolutely. But
All right.
I'll be around tomorrow.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, be good.
Later. I always forget this. Murphy is literally 45 minutes from my vacation home.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I don't know if you met Braun. He's
No, I haven't. No.
he is one of the oldest lawyers in the city.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yep.
Back in town, doing anything interesting or?
Him?
Yeah.
No. He you know. Oh yeah, he's. I think Princess wanted him to be the deputy.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Surprised I'm just hearing the name now.
EMP launcher.
Yeah.
We're running off speculation. What are we gonna fucking do, right?
Uh-huh.
But I have a feeling that this was looked at and it was more like, oh my God, EMP launcher, holy fuck. It's this thing that we barely ever see and it looks scary, right?
Yeah.
And therefore $40,000, right? The rarity, no, rarity, such a cringe way to put it. The availability being low on this, or it being something that's hard to come by, should not be indicative of the find in time. If it is something that's just so incredibly hard to get your hands on, the fact that someone loses it that's already doing the damage there, right? And has nothing to do. It's not a legal argument. Just as because it says it's got its name in gold and yellow. It says legendary. Yeah. All right. So, okay. Next. Operating a cabinless vehicle without proper protection. Remove. Oh my God! Wait a minute! Quango! It's illegal to operate or ride a motorcycle, ATV, or other motorized cableless vehicles without a helmet. Oh, fuck that shit. Oh, wait, they removed it.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's just as bad. Brother, I just need to stretch my legs a little bit. I am going to argue, as small of a charge as this is, the fact that they just removed some shit. This literally was like, we're gonna do whatever the fuck we want to. Where's any of this information coming from? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm losing it. I'm losing it.
I think you and we were both expecting in the comments to see some rationale why things were changing, and I'm not seeing it.
I don't like this charge either. It's the fact that something was removed without any, we say process, but I'm going to say dialogue, because dialogue by default in our government is the legislative authorities communicating. And I want to remind you that we were lied to, and there was deceit, in which for weeks we were told they're just updating like some fines and times a little bit, and that we'd get a preview copy. Instead, it just got enacted, and it turned out that they added a bunch of shit, and now I'm realizing that they removed some stuff too. I want and look, today what if because oh my man, god damn it. All right, no, this entire thing needs to be reverted.
Yeah.
Let's note, charge removed, no reason.
Yep.
And this actually makes it worse, is that Bruce Collins is saying we should keep it. This was discussed, and the outcome of the discussion, who? Was that they're only putting yourself at risk by doing it. So by who? Sama wasn't even consulted. What are they, doctors now too? Like, where are they getting this shit from? Honestly, we need new justices. Like, the mental is cooked.
That's it.
Let me.
I think that's a tough pill to swallow, but again, it's like you say, it's the mental, it's the mindset, it's the philosophy towards the entire legal and judicial branch. I think the philosophy is inherently flawed.
I think it's the sheer notion that these kind of statements can be made, but by who? Like, who was consulted?
Yeah.
I can say with like 80% certainty what's Watson Perry's last name?
Yeah, Perry Watson.
It is Watson. Okay.
Yeah.
It threw me off because she didn't have the Sama director thing in it.
Hello, Nino.
Hey, Dr. Perry. I'm reviewing. Oh yeah, Michael's gonna send you a copy of the alteration to the judicial, the whole like justices can change penal code language.
Yeah.
And we'd like your like raw, just if you think there's anything missing. We tried to 12-year-old it and put a bunch of child locks on it just to make it really clear. But please scrutinize the crap out of it when he does send it your way. He's going to send it here in just a minute or so.
All right.
Do you have his email?
Oh, yeah, I have his email.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, he's going to send that over. Second question I got is, were you consulted at all with the penal code changes back in February?
No.
So when they removed the charge for operating a cabinless vehicle without proper protection, and they stated that this was discussed and the outcome of the discussion was that you're only putting yourself at risk by doing so, and it's your right to do so at your own risk as long as it's not harming others or putting them at the risk of harm. You had no say in that?
No, I had no say in that.
Okay, perfect. All right. We will have me and Michael are kind of going through this, and we're gonna probably set up a meeting in the next, probably tomorrow. We'll let you know with our
Alrighty.
findings, and we'll provide all the source material too, so you can kind of scrutinize our conclusions here. But that's why I was asking. I wanted to make sure. We suspected you weren't consulted. I was pretty sure we spoke about this, but I wanted to double check. So.
Yeah, no, I haven't been consulted anything about that, so that's intriguing to me too.
All right, easy. All right, Dr. Perry, appreciate it.
All right.
Take care. Bye.
Take care.
I'm excited to see Sab's video of him EMPing someone. If Dr. Perry wasn't consulted, who is discussion? Who is discussion? We know it wasn't Chief.
Yeah.
We know it's not Dr. Perry. We know that because the cops are posting just small comments, that their opinion didn't weigh into this. We weren't consulted. Who the fuck was in the discussions?
If I had to guess, the DOJ and the clerks. And the PD.
The fact, brother, when they kept bringing up clerks, I wanted to like literally shoot the man in the face. I was like, okay, wait, Junior. I was Junior clerk in February?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I'm very curious to hear how involved the quote unquote, like, brother, it was probably like Jordan Ackridge sitting down and like, she's like, well, you know, actually, I think like, you know, the helmet, what, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, Jordan, great, right? Junior, great. They're clerks.
Yeah.
Their opinion matters, but not to that degree where they're changing literal society.
Well, and they're also not subject matter experts. Like Perry should have been the first person consulted, because when you talk about things like helmets, right, you go to concussion and head injury, which is a matter for SAMA.
Agreed. Well, I'm with you. I think SAMA having a weight, but I do think the argument is Weiss's argument here is reasonable. Is that you don't necessarily like if you're doing harm to yourself, right? Like that's on you. It shouldn't necessarily be. Well, okay. First off, I don't know. That's a bigger, broader discussion. But one could also argue, at the end of the day, they didn't discuss it. Let's leave it at that for now. I don't want to go too deep down that topic. Okay, next one. Anonymous. Change nor any actual committed violence to nor any additional committed violence. Okay. I don't know who that is. But fine. Next. Wait, actually, what is this? Involving theft. Robbery of low security. It went from $10,000 to $15,000. But why?
Well, I think maybe they increased the fine and offset at the time. So they increased the fine to rationalize dropping the time to 60 months. That's the only rationale I could come up for it.
Next. Are we revising this charge? Loads of conversation from this charge in the past. Oxlong. Who?
judge.
Okay. No, I know, but
Yeah.
like it says marked as resolved. Is there a diff? Okay, they didn't change it, right?
Ah, I don't know. Doesn't look like it though.
It doesn't look like it, yeah.
I'm gonna check it to be safe.
Okay.
No, same. It's just the fine time change.
Okay. Next, change nor any. Okay. And then we got a Marshall comment here. It says this really needs to have an addition of requiring an overt act because I've abused this so much. What is this? Conspiracy. Wait, but then they just marked it as resolved.
They quadrupled the time and increased the fine and increased the time, but the language looks like it stayed the same.
Wait, they removed another charge here. Bruh! Offenses against public administration.
Attempted prison break.
Huh?
Yeah.
Wait, why would... I'm so confused. What? Wait, there's no... Wait, what? Oh, because there's already prison break. Brother.
But those are, I mean...
I'm okay with the attempt to break into government buildings. The attempt to break into a prison is as bad as breaking into a prison. Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Why is a prison break a felony and not a hag? Because the reason I would argue that they're so I know this is I'm going off the reservation a little bit here.
Yeah.
But I think there should be misdemeanors. I think there should be felonies.
Mm-hmm.
And then there should be something else that's like a hag. And then there's a hag. A hag makes you go to court, right?
Yeah.
The non-hag, let's call it like I don't even fucking know.
Nag.
Sure. Is you go in for 24 hours and they're actually this should be a hag or like a hag light. My point being that if you're breaking into a fucking prison or you get close enough to doing so, because how do you even get attempted?
That's a good question. That's the question that I have.
Let's even fuck it. Let's just say prison break. Is prison break a hag? It's not. It's 40,000. What the fuck, brother? An EMP gun equals a prison break.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god.
No, I'm inclined to agree. Prison break are one of those offenses that fundamentally challenge the justice system. You know what I mean? Like that's a severe offense.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Pause. A prison break breaks or attempts to... Wait, steals a law enforcement vehicle intended to transport and attempted... I don't fucking know. If you are breaking somebody out of... It should be a hag, I think. If you're breaking someone out of... Wait, out of a prison transport? Bro, wait, why is a prison break steals a law enforcement vehicle intended to transport an individuals to prison after processing has occurred? This is so fucking dumb. So, breaking open the prison for multiple inmates to leave is equal to hitting a prison transport? That's idiotic. There should be prison break and there should be... But a prison break... Wait, but a prison break... This whole thing needs to be deep dived. I don't want to go into it too much, but we'll make a note here. This is like unrelated, but a prison break is... A prison break, I feel like someone is leaving, not breaking into prison.
That's it. Yeah.
But whatever you want to call this thing, it should be a hag, in my opinion. Now, I'm going to mention that maybe there should be a hag light. We'll call it. If let's say 6 people break into the prison, regardless of whether they're trying to break someone out, kill someone, whatever, I think that at minimum, I'm not saying they should wait 3 months for court. That's why I'm sort of chewing on whether it should be a hag or not. But there should be an evaluation of what the fuck took place, and then a fine and time is applied based on that.
Well, so now you're getting into the idea of aggravating and mitigating enhancements.
Yes, I agree.
That's it, right?
Well, the way that, but what you're talking about today traditionally is you just stack on what their possessions are, but the possessions aren't like, you know what I'm saying? Like a prison break is so fucking, you could literally, right now, you could fucking blow up the front of prison and theoretically release the entire population.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Or you can go in there and punch the warden in the nose.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same shit. The problem is that this prison break has such a wide band of what could be happening, is that it should be hag light. In other words, it should be, well, what the fuck happened? And then you, a hag light should be, there's a time and fine. Here's what we're alleging happened. You go from there. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll postpone this. Oh, how you doing, Mr. Flyrone?
I'm good, baby. I just want to say thank you for holding up your word, man. You did great. Beautiful.
Hey,
I appreciate you, baby.
That's how everyone should be expecting, you know, when you're, you know, if you promise something, you say you're going to do it, you should at least put the effort in. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely. And look at you. You did it, baby. Look at it. We a separate pop in the bound. We don't got to answer nobody but the state.
That's what's up. Oh,
yeah. Happy Easter, by the way.
Hey, you as well.
Does that offer for the LSPD? Does that offer to the DOC as well?
Wait, say again?
The offer.
Oh, the 50,000.
Yeah.
Let me ask my cabinet. It does not at the moment. I don't know. I don't think I can legally do it. Hopefully that changes down the line, though. I think once we figure out what the new DLC administration is, we're going to make sure you guys get taken care of.
Hell yeah, baby. I appreciate you.
Easy.
All right, Mr. Nino, you have a safe day, pimp.
You as well. You take care, brother. Bye. Okay, let's not go too deep into this. It should not. I don't know why it was removed, though, and that's where it's fucking me up. The attempt to break into government buildings. Oh, it's the attempt to break in and then attempts to steal. Yeah, whatever. I'm not dead pressed on this. All right. This is a drastic uptick. Why? Wait a minute. Hold on. So check out R248.
Yep.
How is a justice asking, this is a drastic uptick, why? So then who the fuck actually was in this meeting?
Did you see the response is from Falconer. But the
Yeah, but my problem with that is that what do you call it? My problem with this is what do you call it? Because of what comes from this crime, plus there's only 2 times it was charged. My problem with this, sorry, the coffee's having a problem like kicking in. Is that what the hell is her name? Grayson. If Arcadia is asking this question, that means she inherently wasn't present at the time this was changed.
Yeah.
So then who the fuck was actually in this? Her and Faulkner have been the most active since February, right?
Yeah.
So if she wasn't there, then who the fuck did this? You get what you see what I'm saying? Like, did like one guy go through and just say YOLO?
Well, that's
if you have any problems, let me know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's kind of how it looked at. I thought that at least they all sit down in a room together and went through it, but obviously they all went through it individually.
I think desecration of a human corpse. You know what? I'm gonna spitball this hag light. Court cannot sustain a ton of cases. There's certain crimes that should not just be a simple charge, because even desecration of a corpse, I would love to see something that's like a hag light, where the police make a report, the person goes in for 24 hours, and a judge has to come back with a fine and time associated. Yep. And you either take it, and then you just take it. There should be a low band and a high band.
Yeah.
And then the judge, based on the actual situation, give something on the level. Because if I go and like throw an apple into an empty grave during a funeral, versus I go and take that body and like fucking shit in its mouth, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's like, should be kind of or burn it, you know? Like, I like that general idea, because at the end of the day, right? One of some random guy that flies into the city and dies is gonna be different than someone like, I don't know, somebody that of importance in the city died and something crazy happened to them.
Yeah.
Right? So, and I would even argue that 50,000 might be too little, right? I want us to float this. I think this is a good yeah.
Otherwise I'm gonna pass the fuck.
Yeah, I got you. I think this is a good thing. I know this goes beyond the scope of this, but I definitely like the idea of it.
I like the idea. I think my mind immediately goes back to the penal code doesn't really foster an environment that encourages investigation. And I think at the same time, it also fosters an environment that doesn't encourage judicial discretion. And that's effectively what we're talking about, for a judge to be able to analyze the impact of the charge that's being levied.
And I'm glad you said
set a fine time based on. Yeah.
Is that a hag light? A hag makes sense, right? Terrorism, all these kind of things, right?
Sure.
It requires investigative time. If a trial doesn't happen for 30 days, it makes sense. But a hag light should be effectively a category of like, legislatively, here's the band, right? And here's like the first degree, second degree, third degree, right? And it kind of gives like a vague idea of like what it consists of and what the fine and time for it is.
Yeah.
And the idea behind a hag light is, yes, you go in. You know, if you're deciding to go and destroy a corpse, right? Let's say Junior died tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And someone stole his body, paraded it through the city, and fucking took a piss on it. 50,000 isn't even what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's well within reason and understandable if someone got thrown out. thrown up for 24 hours, and they were given a sentencing, in that case, let's say on the high end of the spectrum, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I like this. I actually like this. Because at that point, in those 24 hours, there should be impact statements, right? You can put into there for this HAG light charge, law enforcement should get impact statements and a description of what happened, and then a judge reviews it based on the impact statements, etc., and they make that ruling. It doesn't even need to be a full-on court case. Then again, I'm gonna play devil's advocate, is that people are gonna fight the charge.
Is that a bad thing though?
What?
I guess my question is,
Well, sorry. One of the reasons it may exist, what I meant to say is, one of the reasons that it may just be a hit charge is the notion that if someone desecrates corpses, PD doesn't want to deal with it. Judiciary may not want to deal with it. Is that a HAG is something that we as a society are saying we really need to make sure it's done right. Right? We really give a fuck about this.
yeah.
Enough so that we're going to put someone in jail long enough and there's value to it. I don't know.
I don't, maybe I'm blue skying or I'm speaking too generally, but I would like to see a system that encourages investigations and encourages outcomes that result in judges wanting to see things taken to court. And from the flip side, I want to see a system that encourages or provides the ability for criminals to challenge things in court, right? We're talking about due process, and due process should be interesting.
I agree with you. I want you to hold that thought for just a second.
Yeah,
Give me a sec, John.
of course.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna knock on a wall here real quick.
Of course.
I agree with you, but this may originally have been just a charge because society in San Andreas may not give that much of a shit.
Hmm.
You get what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of like kidnapping someone is not that big of a deal. It
Yeah.
might be in that realm. Because, like, in reality, you kidnap someone, they're going to be like, oh, my God. Might have scarred them mentally for life.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
I think I'm talking more big picture though, not in relation to one particular charge, but coming away from this deep dive that we're going to have to do at some point and putting forward a system that encourages people to actually participate in the judiciary.
I agree with you, but we have to be pragmatic, too.
Of course, yeah.
Most people don't go to court. Not enough judges exist to take on court cases. Most court cases are stuck in scheduling limbo.
Yeah, yeah.
So in lieu of that, the entire system needs to recognize it. All right. I got to do something just real quick.
Sure. Yeah.
Chat, it's time to head over to Kick. Kick time, baby. There it is. Let me load it up. After this, we're going to be jumping on Brian as well. I want to get through all the penal code stuff. And then get on Brian. This is good. I'm glad we're going through it. Link it up, link it up. Pain in the ass, but it's necessary. I think us deep diving it the way we are is very good because we're coming up with effectively a full-blown, this is why it's happening, right? We're giving a full-blown response instead of, even though I think we're well within our rights of being like, this is dog shit, fix it. I think we're doing the more professional approach, which is, I think I'm glad we're taking the more professional approach here and bringing a solution. To the table. All right, there we go. I have a feeling we're going to get so much shit when this happens.
Well, I think it's going to be a mixed bag. I think a lot of people are going to celebrate it, to be honest with you.
I think we're going to get people being like, oh my God, Nino made it so like criminals don't get charged anymore. Then there'll be some odd things where they actually reduce some shit. They're like, oh yeah, Nino did that.
I'm really, my mind's stuck on this idea of an in-between. So I really like it. Like a judicial whole to conduct an impact assessment effectively.
Yeah, the hag light.
Yeah. Because our system right now is very binary, right? It's misdemeanor or felony, and a lot of crimes vary wildly based on impact, right? Someone could commit arson and it damages nothing, but someone could commit arson and there could be like 20 fatalities. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
So I think,
and binariness is like kind of boring. I'm gonna be honest.
It is, and I think what it leads to is officers are basically forced to either undercharge or overcharge, and then judges really have no meaningful window to intervene before time gets served. It's boring. It's surface level.
I'm gonna float an idea.
Yeah.
We've been talking about this like hag light, right?
Yeah.
Well, what if today you go murder somebody, right? Like Mason Dixie. Understandably, that's a hag charge. The guy's existed in San Andreas for a while. He's not some random guy. And when I say random, I'm talking about like he arrived in San Andreas an hour ago and died, right?
Yeah.
Now, so that should be a hag, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then someone that did fly in, right? Less impactful. There should be, just like there are plea deals, an option that people should have is for a lawyer to say, I know this is a hag, but we actually want a hag light. And they say, okay, we're going to have both sides give impact statements. Effectively, what we're saying is a hag light is a summary judgment.
Yeah.
Holy shit, bro. That would be so good. It goes back to all this. There's a lot of crime that might, yes.
It's like It's a discretionary felony, basically.
And everyone gets a moment in court. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 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 I mean, I like the idea of someone
with maybe a
reviewing-
1 week resolution timer.
Yeah. Give someone in the DOJ time to review the extent of the damage, read those statements that you brought up, assess the risk to the civilian population or the extent of damage to property. You know, give them a chance to look at prior record, and then just let a judge apply a fine and time based on their assessment, right?
Let's say theoretically someone did a race around the city with a bunch of death machines.
Uh-huh.
I'm just coming up with this, you know what I mean? But
Okay.
like the ass fister machine or whatever the fuck
Just
that cop was talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
If you got caught doing that, it's a little weird, right? You'd be like, oh, poor little guy.
Hmm.
It's also kind of crazy that someone, let's say, went into jail for 30 days and it's not conducive to the society just moving forward.
Yeah.
What
yeah.
would be reasonable is, oh shit, I got caught. You got held just for a couple hours. And it becomes this hag light thing, right?
Yeah.
And in a week, you're going to say, here's what we saw, you know, PD side. Here's what it is. Summary judgment. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you know, 300 months or whatever. I don't know. I think we're on the same page here that we should definitely explore this idea outside of it. I understand why it's coming up as we're reviewing all this, but
Yeah. Yeah. No, I really like it. I'd be interested to hear Grayson's take on it, to be honest with you. I think he would be... I think he'd be excited. I think he'd like it.
yep, absolutely agreed.
Man, even from the lawyer perspective, hey, I just see this benefiting everyone. It's a really good idea.
Yeah, there's some prescribed hag lights, but any hag level charge can be motioned down to a hag light.
Yeah.
It's still judicial discretion, right? At the
Yeah,
end of the day.
Yeah.
So if it makes sense to do it, you do it. You just don't have to force a trial in a month or two just because whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, the like, anyways.
No, this is a good idea. It's a really good idea. And I think it doesn't strip power away from anyone. If any, I would argue it empowers lawyers and the judiciary.
Yep. I mean, and with it being judicial discretion, if a cop and the suspect both agree to a hag light, why should anyone give a fuck?
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, next one. Offenses against public safety. Wait, it's not even updated.
Stockpiling. Yeah. No, this didn't change at all, except for 75K increase to the amount.
Brother, I am so beyond confused what the hell document we're looking at now.
Yeah.
Because where is I'm confused because it feels like maybe it was just 2 justices or maybe even 1 person that changed all this. Because look at how much Arcadia's commenting in it. That means she would not have been present, right?
Yeah.
Or am I tripping here?
I mean, you should ask Turner. For all we know, that meeting
We
that
already know
Turner had,
Turner said he was only present for 30 minutes.
but who was there is my question.
Oh, no, it was just him and some command members. And they just gave him the document and said, give us your feedback.
Oh my god! I
Yeah.
thought they at least had a roundtable
No.
discussion. Oh my.
No, they went in
God.
there and they said, we're changing things. Here you go. Give us your comments.
I bet you a conversation never took place between the justices and another party.
That's exactly what I was saying, man.
Oh my god.
I want you to also make note that these changes came February 6th, and Arcadia is making comments on February 3rd.
Yeah.
And some of them are resolved. Where was the conversation?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Let's say there was dialogue via email. How are we supposed to get that context?
You're not.
Yeah, exactly.
So there should be a harsher penalty. They already do not have a license. I'd make this closer to 8 to 10. Oh, they increased the points, bro. Yeah. Shut up. Put that to the notes. Brother, just revoke it all. This is actually bro, this is worse than we originally thought.
It's not even groups, it's individual opinion without any rationale.
At a high level, this was egregious and we were pissed.
Yeah.
Going through this shit. This entire document makes me feel like there's a lot of people that didn't want this constitution to happen.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Because how do you see this stuff and be like, this makes sense to do?
Yeah.
Increase to 4. Oh, my Lord.
But it didn't even get increased, though, is the thing. The fine just went up by $500.
True. Some of these things may have been resolved to say, look, we did a good enough job, and they hit resolved on the other comments, and they said they were done.
But it's when I read things like that, it's very clear that the mindset.
Oh my God! Felony hit and run is 20. Oh my God! What? No! Oh my God!
7x,
brother. That's instant license loss.
Yeah.
People hit people with a car to be fun. Could you imagine if Carmine knew about this?
Yeah. Yeah. But this, oh man. This kind of gets back to my point where the mindset was one of deterrence, right? But instead of deterrence, what they get is escalation.
Brother, what the fuck?
Uh-huh.
Oh my God. Oh my god. You know what? Do you remember who Sarah Palin is?
Of course, yeah.
I feel like we're working in an office with Sarah Palin.
Oh, I'd give her.
If she became like president.
Think she's not bad? Come on.
Well, I mean, like classic lines like, "I can see Russia from my backyard."
I
forgot
about that. Yeah.
Like if and I'm saying it like this because like that's what like this feels like, where it's just, oh my god, where it's just. But now you have to debate Sarah that's not Russia you're looking at from your backyard. And she's convinced it is, which, mind you, I know that you can view parts of Russia from parts of Alaska, but not where she lived.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh my god, brother, this actually hurts so much. We realistically cannot recommend anything other than a reversion, because this isn't just fine in time. These aren't just new charges. They remove things. They've changed points on things. There's no backing to any of it. They consulted Sarah Palin to make these changes.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god, bro. I normally don't feel like I need to drink. I feel like I need to drink.
I've moved past that already. I've looked at this
you're
enough
drunk?
over the last. No. God, I wish. I looked at it enough over the last week to know exactly what went on here. I know how bad this is, and I know that it has to be reversion, and then it has to be done properly from the ground up.
Yeah. There's so many things I wanted to do when I became mayor, and so much of it was just having to battle idiots.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to... Remember we talked about, like... I don't know. This might have been... I mean, you might remember this. I wanted a driving school. Like, let's get civilians and make them do the driving school, and then they recommend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some shit. Like, just get people involved in stuff. But instead, I feel like the entire government got taken over by control freaks.
Yeah. No, you're right. That's exactly it.
And I can understand that I probably come across as one. But I put forward this. I do it yes, I'm very staunch in my opinion, but I put it forward and it needs to be accepted outside of our cabinet for it to happen.
Yeah.
But these things just happen.
Yeah.
It can't be like this. No. And then it's just you wake up and it's changed and you're like, what? I don't know. It's just kind of like, it just sucks, I think.
I think
fuck us. Like, we chose this job, right? It just sucks thinking about like all the shit people could have been experiencing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, we've been fighting power grabs since day one. Remember I made that, what was it? It was a picture of Angel, like, puppet mastering someone. I can't even remember who. I think it was you and Pred I had in the picture. But things really haven't changed since then. It's really been us trying to cut the strings that the DOJ have been using to use the system in bad faith, basically. We haven't even fought for, let's say, for the mayors to have more power than the Constitution gives them. We've been fighting for people to just accept that this is the power the Constitution gives you. No more, no less. It's been a jurisdictional battle for 9 fucking months.
Do you remember the Nino can't control the PD? And I would be like, I literally just chill. Like, when's the last time I ever demanded anything?
Yeah.
Can't even get someone to get a fucking apology out.
But even then, right? By appointing the chief, you give the chief a mandate, right?
Yeah.
And if the chief doesn't uphold your mandate, it's within your rights to remove the chief and put in one that will implement your mandate. You barely even do that. I'm going to be honest with you. And that's not a slight against you. What I'm saying is you don't meddle.
Oh my God, bro. I can't believe this fucking hit and run 20.
Wild.
Let me read the leaving a scene of an accident that results in injury. Brother, you know how many cops can get hit with this?
Oh, 100%.
Let's take a mini break.
Yeah.
I need a mini break after seeing that. This is actually, these people are fucking retarded.
Uh-huh.
I feel like, you know, all right, chat. Twitch stream is turning off. Head over to Kick if you haven't already. I'll see you over there. Kick.com/dasMEHDI. Kick.com/dasMEHDI. Go, 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 go.